For a lot of people, $2 million feels like the finish line. It sounds like freedom, security, and finally being able to stop worrying about money. And to be clear, reaching $2 million is a major accomplishment. For many retirees, it can support a very comfortable lifestyle. But here's what surprises people once they actually get there. Everything changes when you retire with $2 million saved. Not because it's suddenly not enough, and not because you did anything wrong, because the risks, trade-offs, and the planning priorities shift in ways that most people never see coming. I've worked with retirees who crossed that $2 million mark expecting retirement to feel simpler, only to discover that taxes became more complicated. Income decisions mattered more, and small missteps had much larger consequences. So today, let's walk through why everything changes for retirees with $2 million saved, and what new challenges quietly show up, and how retirees adjust their strategy once accumulation is over and retirement truly begins. I'm Jason Solomon. I'm the owner of Tactical Investment Advisors. And today, I'm breaking down why having $2 million saved changes the entire retirement planning conversation, and why the strategies that helped you build wealth probably aren't the ones that protect in retirement. If you find this helpful, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps more people find these educational videos, and quite frankly, it helps us too. Part 1. $2 million is where accumulation thinking stops working. For most of your working life, the objective is straightforward. Save consistently, invest for growth. Just let the time and compounding do the heavy lifting. That mindset works really well during accumulation, but retirement changes the math. Once you stop earning a paycheck, your portfolio is no longer just growing in the background. It's now responsible for producing income every month, every year, for the rest of your life. At $2 million, the shift becomes very real. Small percentage decisions now represent real dollars. A 1% mistake isn't abstract. It's 20 grand. A poorly timed withdrawal has lasting consequences. A tax misstep compounds over decades. This is where accumulation thinking starts to break down, and retirement thinking has to take over. Part 2. Taxes become one of the biggest risks. One thing most people don't realize is that at $2 million, taxes quietly become one of the largest threats to retirement success. Not market crashes, not spending, taxes. So at this level, required minimum distributions become meaningful. Income stacking becomes common. Tax brackets matter more than ever. Larger balances equal larger RMDs. More income, more taxation. And taxes reduce flexibility. Many retirees are caught off guard by this. They didn't overspend, they didn't invest recklessly, but once RMDs, Social Security, pensions, and investment income begin stacking together, taxes become a first-order risk, not an afterthought. This is where tax-aware income planning becomes critical. Part 3. Income structure matters more than portfolio returns to many people. So at $2 million, success is no longer driven by investment performance. Most people want it to be driven by how income is structured. Two retirees with the same $2 million portfolio can experience completely different outcomes, depending on which accounts they withdraw from, when income shows up on the tax return, how withdrawals interact with taxes and healthcare costs. Same assets, different outcomes. Structure oftentimes beats performance. Income coordination matters. This is why retirees at this level stop asking, how can I get higher returns? And they start asking, how do I make this reliable? Consistency, predictability, and tax efficiency begin to matter more than maximizing growth. Part 4. Risk feels different with $2 million on the line. When $2 million is saved, risk doesn't disappear, but it feels very different. Earlier in life, market volatility was theoretical, but in retirement, it's personal. A significant market decline early in retirement can permanently reduce income potential, increase withdrawal pressure, and force lifestyle adjustments. This is known as your sequence risk of returns, and it becomes very real at this level. That's why many retirees with $2 million shift from pure growth strategy to risk-aware portfolio construction. Not to avoid markets entirely, but to manage how downturns affect cash flow and confidence. Part 5. Spending decisions carry more weight. At $2 million, most retirees can afford their lifestyle, but the margin of error is narrower than people expect. Every spending decision affects your taxes, your portfolio longevity, future withdrawal rates, your Medicare premiums. A single large withdrawal for a renovation, a gift, or a one-time purchase can ripple forward for years. This is why successful retirees don't just track spending. They design spending rules. Rules that adjust during market volatility, account for tax thresholds, protect long-term sustainability. This is not about restriction, it's about durability. Part 6. Healthcare and longevity move front and center. With $2 million saved, most retirees aren't worried about next year. They're worried about the next 20 or 30 years. Healthcare costs, longevity risk, Medicare premiums, long-term care decisions. They don't usually derail retirement immediately, but they shape how confident it feels over time. This is where planning shifts from how do I retire to how do I stay retired. Longevity planning becomes just as important as market planning. Legacy planning becomes strategic, not theoretical. Another major shift at $2 million is how people think about their legacy. At lower asset levels, the focus is survival and income. But at this level, people begin asking deeper questions. What happens if one of the spouses passes first? How will taxes affect what's left behind? Do I want efficiency, simplicity, or control for my heirs? Estate planning moves from paperwork to strategy. Beneficiaries, tax efficiency, and coordination become real planning tools, not afterthoughts. This is where working with a financial professional can make a meaningful difference. Simplicity starts to beat optimization. So one of the most interesting shifts I see at $2 million is this. Retirees often stop chasing optimization and they start valuing simplicity. Too many accounts, too many strategies, too many moving parts. These things increase stress without necessarily improving your outcomes. Smart retirees often move towards clear income sources, predictable cash flow, fewer surprises, not because they're giving up opportunity, because clarity creates confidence, and confidence is what allows people to enjoy their retirement. Part 9. Mistakes matter more at $2 million than they did at $500,000. The more you have, the more costly mistakes become. At $500,000, a mistake is painful. At $2 million, it's structural. Tax errors, poor sequencing, mismanaged risk. These decisions compound quietly, and the impact often isn't obvious until years later. This is why many retirees seek guidance after reaching this level, and not before. Part 10. Why retirement feels different emotionally at $2 million. At $2 million, things change even emotionally. People often expect to feel completely relaxed once they reach $2 million, but instead, they feel something different. A fear not to mess it up, a fear of irreversible mistakes, a responsibility to protect what they've built. These are all normal feelings, and that's why planning at this level needs to focus as much on confidence and clarity as on the numbers. Reaching $2 million is an incredible achievement, but it's not the finish line. It's a transition point. It's where retirement planning shifts from accumulation to preservation, from growth to coordination, and from guessing to intention. Everything changes not because $2 million isn't enough, it's because how you manage it matters more than ever. At this level, success is no longer about chasing returns or copying generic rules of thumb. It's about designing a plan that produces reliable income, manages taxes deliberately, controls risk thoughtfully, and supports a long, confident retirement. Good outcomes don't happen by accident at $2 million. They happen because the plan evolves. If you're approaching retirement and want to make sure your plan is working for you, not against you, let's talk. Having $2 million saved gives you options, but only if those options are coordinated properly. Taxes, income strategy, risk management, healthcare planning, and legacy decisions all interact. Looking at any one of them in isolation is where costly mistakes usually happen. When you book a free consultation using the link in the description below, I'll walk you through how these pieces fit together in your specific situation so you can understand where your flexibility comes from and how to protect it. There's no pressure, no obligation. It's just a clear professional conversation designed to help you move forward with confidence instead of uncertainty. Click the link in the description below to book a free consultation, and I'll walk you through your options. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.